Okay, anything else you want to say about stories you like?
No.
What do you love most about stories?
Probably scary parts because they're kind of more interesting.
Okay, and do you like...
Depends which book. Like Lord of the Rings, scary parts.
Yeah?
Other books, they may be good parts. I don't know.
What are the ingredients for a really good story?
Just any stories. I just like stories.
Adventure.
I would go with any story.
Detail.
Transformers.
Parts that are exciting.
What ingredients do you think make a good story? Does it have to have a princess in it or a water cannon? Like what?
Water cannon.
What?
Water cannon.
Hear ye, one and all. You're now tuned into a channel we call Podikins Presents.
Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of Podikins Presents, an interactive podcast channel for creative and curious minds, age 0 to 99. Last week, you might remember that we introduced ourselves, but in case you've forgotten already, I'm Andrew. I'm your host, and I'm here with my trusty producer. Hey. Welcome, James.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Last week, we asked listeners to introduce themselves by introducing someone else. We've already received some great introductions, but we're still looking for more. So if you haven't yet, send us in your interactive introductions. Introduce us to whoever you want. Just have fun with it. Email your introductions as a voice memo to share@podikins.fm. We can't wait to hear what you cook up. Speaking of cooking, that brings us to today's activity.
This week's activity is called Story Chef. Story Chef.
Well, I better get our chef's hat. Hold on 1 second.
In this activity,
Story Chef.
we cook up a story from scratch based on some mystery ingredients we received from our listeners.
Okay, well, let's go to the pantry and see what our first ingredient is. Story Chef!
Our first story ingredient comes from Lucie. She wants to hear a story that features
The Rose Fairy.
Oh, that's a great ingredient, but I mean, I think we can handle this. Once upon a time, there was a fairy named...
Whoa.
What?
Well, there's going to be more than one ingredient.
Oh, right.
Okay, so our next ingredient comes from Beatrix.
The baby finds the mama.
Huh. A baby. So there's got to be a baby in this story. And a mama.
Next up, we have a request from Lila.
The last magical gorilla.
The last magical gorilla. I like it.
Oh, but hold on. Lila actually has a couple more ingredients, too.
And a potion and someone who wants to grow wings.
This is getting to be a little tricky. I mean, started off pretty easy with Rose the Rose Fairy, but there's a lot more ingredients now we have to incorporate.
Well, and we're not even done yet.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
We have one more mystery ingredient, and it comes from Katie, who wants us to include
10 clowns try and make a clown tower.
Oh, boy. This is getting to be a bit of a tall task.
Yeah. How are we going to do this?
Usually in a story writing process, we should probably start with brainstorming.
Okay. Do a little prep.
Okay, so we need Rose the Rose Fairy. We need a baby finds its mama.
Right. A magical gorilla.
The last magical gorilla.
Right.
And a potion.
Remember Katie had 10 clowns and they're making a clown tower, so we got to do that somehow. Are we going to write this thing out?
We definitely don't have time to write out a story. I think we've just got to sort of improvise it and tell it on the fly.
How are we going to do this?
You better bring in all your sound effects.
I need all the voices I can muster. Okay. You ready?
I think so. Once upon a time, in a magical land, there was a flower garden where fairies of all shapes and sizes fluttered around and tended to their particular flowers.
But there was one particular flower fairy named Rose, and you guessed it, she was a rose fairy. But she had no wings. So she walked along the garden floor each day, tending the roses.
But only the stems, because she couldn't quite reach the petals of the rose, because she didn't have wings to get up there. She saw Penelope the tulip fairy often flying by and shout down to her,
"Where are your wings, Rose?"
Poor Rose, always tending the stems.
Until one day, she heard a strange noise that she'd never heard before. It wasn't Peter the potato bug.
It wasn't Wilhelm the worm.
It wasn't Gary the grasshopper. It wasn't even Penelope the tulip fairy. She'd never heard it before. It was almost like something was crying. Rose was intrigued. She'd never heard a sound like that before. If you have.
Who was it?
Well, she walked over to where she thought the sound was coming from. And suddenly she saw a baby gorilla.
A magical gorilla?
Magical gorillas only become magical when they're aged 8+.
Wow.
Yeah. So she walked over and she found a baby gorilla who was crying out. Rose walked up to the gorilla and said,
Excuse me? Are you lost?
So Rose said,
Oh, you poor dear. Where did you last see your mother?
My time I saw Mama. She was on a very big hill.
Old Mr. McGurdy's hill, thought Rose.
Old Mr. McGurdy, is he a magical gorilla?
No, the magical gorillas. We'll get there, James. Just hold your horses. She said to the gorilla,
Well, I could take you to that hill to help you find your mama. But we can't go very fast because I don't have wings, so I can't fly.
The baby gorilla then said,
Help me find my Mama. She's magical.
And Rose thought, well, every mother's magical in their own way.
na 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 na. Yeah. Na 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 na.
And she said,
Isn't that nice? My mother's magical too.
And Rose thought nothing more of it. So they kept walking. They walked through the bramble patch
and over the gooseberry bushes
and around the old flifferfloff hedge
and down by the wigginworms.
The wigginworms were beautiful that time of year, thought Rose.
I've never seen wigginworms sizzling quite like this in the sun, but they look beautiful.
And then
suddenly, they looked up on the hill and saw the mama.
But they couldn't get up there. Rose had forgotten that this part of the hill is so steep you could never walk up, and they would have to go all the way around the other side, but there was no time. In fact, they were running out of time.
They were running out of time. By then, it would be nightfall, and magical gorillas go to sleep at 7 p.m. sharp.
Always.
It was already 6:55. And Rose said,
Boy, we're never going to make it up there. We need at least 10 clowns to build a tower to get up that high.
Rose quickly estimated the height, and she said,
That's at least 10 clowns high.
Because in her neighborhood, they always measured height in clouds.
at least 10 clowns high.
At least 10.
And so, but out of nowhere. What?
could that be? It was a tiny, tiny car.
I've never seen a car that small.
It was a tiny car, and Rose saw one clown driving in it, and she got excited. But then she looked at the size of the car and thought,
There's no way 10 clowns could fit in that car.
She thought maybe 2.
maybe 2, maybe 3 if you squeeze one in the trunk. So the car pulled up. And all of a sudden, one clown stumbled out.
Hello, I'm Bozo,
said the clown. But then no other clowns came out.
Oh, no.
Thought Rose and Baby Gorilla.
Oh, no.
They're never going to make it to Mama. It was already 6:58 p.m. And Rose said,
Excuse me, Bozo. Do you happen to have any more clown friends in the car?
Why, matter of fact, I do.
and then a second came out, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth.
And then a 7th?
Well, we were at 6th, and then a 6th, and then a 7th, and then an 8th, and then a 9th. But then no other clowns came out.
Oh, no.
Rose said,
Excuse me, Bozo. There doesn't happen to be one more clown here, does there?
As a matter of fact, there does.
and don't know where.
And he said, "Oh, he's attached to the windshield wipers." And he turned the windshield wipers, and sure enough, there was another full clown attached to it.
And it flew off and landed right in the pack. So Rose said to the clowns,
Excuse me, clowns? I'm here with my friend Baby Gorilla, and we need to get up old Mr. McGurdy's hill to get Baby Gorilla back to his mama. Would you mind maybe building a clown tower for us?
Well, matter of fact, that's all we do build is clown towers.
You heard the lady?
Let's make her tower.
So Bozo took his place at the bottom,
Get in formation, clowns.
and Winksy jumped on top. And slowly but surely, the clowns built a tower. Once they got to the top, Mama Gorilla saw a head poke over the ridge.
What are you doing here?
Said Mama.
Well, ma'am, if you wait just one more minute before you go to bed, we've got a fairy and a little baby that's looking for you. Here they come.
So they climbed up and up and up, and up and up and up. And then they put one foot on Scoodly Scoops.
Hey, watch it.
And then they put one foot in one clown's mouth, and then one on his face.
Hey, what's my nose?
And they stepped on one's toe.
Bingo!
Oh,
Oh, hey!
Haboingo!
Oh, watch my big shoes.
And then they went up, and then one got hit in the eye.
Hey!
And finally, they reached the top of the hill.
baby!
Said Mama Gorilla.
Mama.
Said Baby Gorilla. So the baby found its mama, and the mama said,
Thank you so much, Rose the Rose Fairy, for bringing my baby back to me. Is there anything I could do to repay you?
And Rose went suddenly quiet because she wasn't sure how she was going to get down from this hill.
And the mama said,
Well, it just so happens I'm a magical gorilla.
and Rose said,
Yes, I know. All mothers are magical.
and the gorilla said,
No, I can do magic tricks and I have potions and spells. It just so happens I have a potion here that helps fairies grow wings.
And she said,
What? Really? You do?
and Mama Gorilla said,
Yes, here it is. Drink up.
And so Rose drank the potion down in one gulp, and suddenly, out of her back, she felt a flutter.
It was a tinkle.
She felt a tinkle. Out of her back, she felt a tickle, a flutter. And before she knew it, she was flying. She was fluttering around.
And she flew.
She flew and flew and flew.
She flew and flew and flew. And
she flew down back to the garden, past Penelope the Tulip Fairy. And Penelope said,
Wait, how on earth did you get those?
Magical gorilla. It was the last one. You should have been nicer to it.
Bravo. Bravo. Bravo.
Nailed it.
I think we pulled that off.
I think we did too, and you know what? I had a lot of fun doing it.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, we're in there chopping it up,
mixing, cooking. Now, I think I'm ready to take my patented after-meal nap. Time to settle in.
But Andrew, we've got the credits.
Ah! All right, I'm up. Sorry. Okay, let's do it. Don't forget to send in your interactive introductions to share@podikins.fm. As for us, well, you'll be hearing from us next Saturday.
Podikins Presents is created by James Nicholson and Andrew Whitfield.
This week's music came from Patrick Lee, Dave Depper, Christian Bjorklund, and Jason Shaw.
Artwork by Liz Whitehead.
Matt Schichter is GoldenTone.
And of course, a very special thanks to you, Fiona, Lila, Colin and Dee Dee, Katie and Ryan, Lucie and Charlie, Amara, and Eleanor and Beatrix. Thanks, kids! Be sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to the podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye! So long! Bye-bye. Farewell! Farewell! Adios! Adios! Oh, see ya.
Andrew? Andrew?
What's the Podikins?